Hello everyone, welcome back to the Spooky Island YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be moving on to episode 2 of the Juvenile Justice show on Netflix. The first episode really impressed me. Again, I thought it was really interesting to see a show like this based on the court and based on dealing with young offenders. I think at the same time it's a very difficult situation, and again in some places it can obviously seem quite complicated. Again, in the first episode there was a lot of kind of sways and a lot of different characters which were again lying, I guess you could say, and it proves what people were like, and I think it's really cool the way they've done it, especially with the judge. I really like her character, but again there's still a lot more to her character which I think we'll find out. But I think the focus of this is obviously dealing with young offenders in the court, and I think from the first episode, obviously the kid who was in there was first kind of shown as the person who killed the 8-year-old kid. Obviously that wasn't the case, and right now we think there's obviously an accomplice with this murder. But I thought that was really done well. I thought again it was really, it kind of got you off guard. And again, there's a lot going on. Again, at the same time, again, yeah, it is serious. It's a serious show. But yeah, I'm 100% with this. I really do like it. Again, I kind of watch whatever really. I'll mix between stuff which is a little bit more light-hearted and stuff is more serious. But yeah, let's get straight into episode 2. I'm really interested to see how it starts, because again, it ended in a situation where you had the teenager kind of faced off with the judge down a really dark alley, and I would not like to be in her place right now. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. So here we go. See, that's what I'm saying, is more of a serious show, because in a drama you would have probably seen her attack her, and this, you understand what happened because you see the bandage around the arm, and it's more realistic. There's no need for him to show that, which I think they've done well by that. Trying to read her, it's difficult. Same number. I feel like she's acting up. Well, I don't know. I think there's a true psychopathical side to her, I think. I don't know. 20 years. But that's, I'm saying like 20 years, but that's still kind of low again for murder. Murder for me is life. That's a life sentence. I think you take someone else's life, your life is gone. And I swear they probably could even reduce that time from 20 years to lower. I think it's happened before, I think. Oh, I don't like that look. That's a bit of a, that's a killer vibe look, but I don't know if I'm just judging it because of the fact of all this new information we've gathered on her. And It looks like they're interacting. It's not like she was just in the elevator. That's the thing. It's difficult as a lawyer to, like, the whole situation here is like sometimes a lawyer will have to protect someone who's 100% guilty. It's just, I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting she went through that glass, didn't she? That's what cut her wrist or hand, I'd say. So she didn't obviously attack the judge, but I think, again, she was just going to play the fact that she was innocent and had nothing to do with it. But I think for her, like, I don't know why you would run, because that already means you have something to hide. So I would have just gone with it in the internet cafe. So many lives are impacted in this. It's like, it's not just the judges as well having to deal with the situation. It's the parents, of course, and the impact it has on them. Because for something like that as well, being their 8-year-old son, you can't comprehend it at all. And then you're having people who are younger age trying to take advantage of the system. Doesn't help. So because I would expect this to happen with the higher ups, and it's horrible to think like that, but you expect them to do this. Yeah, because as soon as reporters, broadcasters get the word of this, it looks bad on the system. No one will trust the system. It's even happened with the police. People will lose trust in the police. Just got to make sure, obviously the actual one who's done this, I'd say it's more looking like the female team. That isn't anything to do with, again, serial killing or anything. You want to know this is obviously the first one, because it's like one could lead to many more if they somehow release her because of no evidence. Cats. This is like Strangers from Hell. I was gonna mention this, but I was like, normally serial killers or psychopaths start with cats. They kill cats and then they move on to people. Yeah, the thing we need to work out is it's the connection between the young girl and the boy, because why would he lie for her? And that's the thing. Is it because of fear, or is it something she has over him? It's difficult with young offenders because, again, it's like you can obviously look up the kid and the family background and all that, but it's never the same, obviously, being in their shoes, and there's still all these underlying stuff which obviously you don't know about, because again they don't know why he was lying. Yeah, they don't know the whole thing, and that's why you can do as much as you can right now what she's doing, research the case and again, I can get a good idea of what you're thinking, but not the exact. That's how some people get away with stuff like murders and that, because they just know what to say at the right time. That's what you've got to be a bit careful of here. I feel like something's missing. He does seem like a good guy. He has a very good connection with the young offenders from the detention centre. Like, again, if this was like a drama, I would possibly expect that guy to be the culprit, because he would be kind of manipulating the kids to do stuff, being a psychopath. Very kind of similar to Bad and Crazy, but interesting. Wow. And now the whole story is kind of all upside down, because there's going to be a lot of questions towards her now. It's just not what they want right now, because to be honest, they might then release her because of this. The actual culprit. And that's the thing, there's no hardcore evidence. Oh, he ain't gonna like it, is he? He was already stressed before. The lawyer. It's probably you what released all the information. That's the thing, I don't think I could even do a lawyer's job, because I think if I was in a position where I knew they were guilty, I wouldn't have it in my heart to protect them. I wouldn't care. No, she just treated her like an adult, because they don't learn if you be all nice and act like their kid. I understand she's not shown guilty at the moment, but it is difficult. It's difficult. The way I'm perceiving and the way I would act. Well, this is going to be interesting. Is she a teenager who would feel guilty for killing someone if they were going to do it in the first place? Why would she come out and say she did it? feels like it's not the actual teenagers speaking, but it's the adults which are creating this. Nothing safe on social media. You mentioned the CCTV and then as a joke. Oh. See that's that will drop the time. See, the thing is that they can't lie in court. What? God, it's so hard. Let's take this in because they said the other guy had conditions too. Now she's got this delusional thing, which is just. This is where And that's where the situation comes back to, is where all the lives which were impacted on this, it's like what we've just seen there, is this. And the thing is that the one who would know their child probably the most would probably be their parents, so they would probably know if maybe something was up. And that's the point, is where obviously she has that condition, but it's that point of the obviously chopping up the kid. It's that bit which, it's the bit will put you a lot more trouble. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really what should be the focus, is not what conditions they have, is what they did, and that's what they've done. And that's what's annoying. That's the one thing I find annoying with the system. It's like, you understand some people, again, are not maybe 100%. They're either struggling mentally and that, but it's still a crime, and what they've done is murder. So I think that to me would override any condition. But it's difficult me to say that, because that's why it's horrible, this case. I don't like this case at all. Because when they think it's right again to punish, there's probably that side where they probably know they can't. It's quite horrible, really, to think. When you think about it, it's like that teen is 20 years in jail, and that's the worth of the 8-year-old child, is 20 years for her being in prison. It's horrible. Again, it's a severe punishment for a teenager, but the crime is, it's nothing which equals to a murder. No time. That's the thing. What I've noticed with so much stuff is like they never really make it clear if a condition or a drug can. Sometimes it will impact the situation. Sometimes it doesn't. They need to make it clear if a murder, even with conditions, is the same as someone who doesn't have conditions. And I think personally, if this is my opinion, that I think they should be all treated the same, because again they still killed someone. But it is again difficult because again the person who has these conditions are going to be, again, the doctor said he was there with her for 3 years. You should really be keeping your eye on stuff and anything which you kind of think is a red flag with her condition, or maybe to the point where she would kill someone, and be aware of that and try and do as much as you can to prevent it from happening. So I think again, obviously it's her fault for killing the kid, because you should never do that. But again, there's other people who are at fault too. It's horrible though, because I don't really know much about what she had there, that disorder. It's just so difficult. I feel like as well with something like that, so again, if you're constantly put in positions where you're in discomfort because of that condition, the more and more she's put in that position, the worse it will get until she explodes. And I feel that's what's happened. Mm. Yeah. Rightly said, I'd say 100%. Again, everyone's got to take responsibility, and she was coming in there being very kind of disrespectful. The fact that, again, she might understand that her son had nothing to do with it, but she's got to think about the situation. An 8-year-old kid's lost their lives here, and again, 2 years is nothing. And I think that's why the judge had the picture of the kid on there, I think, to remember what happened and what was done, and not really get anything which takes them away from that, and the fact that what happened, the murder of the 8-year-old kid. Sometimes it's just reality kicks in. it's difficult with her because again she was working a lot, but again just not being there probably didn't help, but and this is just a little example of how some of the cases will work. And you got to imagine most of these are probably endless around the world. Cases like this. I guess that will be the next case. Wow, that was definitely an insight. Oh, God. God. Oh, so difficult. It's so difficult because you're sitting there and you're just kind of spectating it all kind of come through, and there's so many different thoughts going through, and I think that was a great example. I think just the picture on her table for the judge to have the kid is a reminder, because sometimes you forget the actual crime, and I think it's so easily done. Like, at the end of the day, there's all this going on, and you're trying to work out all this different stuff to do with the murder and all that, and you sometimes forget the main thing of a kid's lost their life. And I think that image was a big thing to remember what happened and what they did. And again, I think it's just very well done. It's just it's so difficult to kind of have a say during, again, most of the time was pretty silent during that whole segment inside the court, because there isn't really much you can say, because again there's tons of different variables in this situation, and again there's no really right to have a say, because again we don't really know half of it. And it's just like, again, you can have like thoughts and opinions of maybe the situation, but it kind of gets to the point where it's like it's more than that. It's more than just having an idea or a thought of who done it. It's more the morals, I think. And thinking about that, I think it gives you a bigger picture of what's going on in this show. And I think, yeah, it's very different. Again, I wouldn't kind of put it down as a drama. It feels like a factual documentary, something which, again, feels like you're actually there in the court and all that. And yeah, it's very intriguing. Again, I wouldn't say it's a drama at all. But yeah, I enjoy it because of that, because it's different, and it is serious. Like I've said, it is a very serious show, but it's still very, very interesting to see how it's done and everything, and the way it works. And it does make you kind of feel a bit sick at the end when you realise what's gone on and what's happened. Because yeah, anyone can be an offender. You don't have to be. You could be old, you could be young, and it just proves that it's just, I don't know. It's a system which is constantly, like, again, having to deal with stuff like this, and it isn't easy. But yeah, it kind of gives you a kind of understanding of what they go through, all these people who are in the law, and I think, again, you kind of respect what they do. I think I 100% do. and you almost forget. You kind of just live side of that. You don't, because there's something, unless you're with the law and the peace, you don't really. Like me, I have nothing really to do with the law, but you don't really think of. I don't really think about that type of stuff. But when you're put in a position where you're seeing something which happens, you're like, wow, it's crazy how kind of like this happens, and you're not kind of like being able to like understand it's happening, and it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, that is episode 2 for Juvenile Justice, and yeah, I will move on to episode 3 tomorrow, and that'll be a new case. So yeah, we'll deal with another one and see what the situation is with that case. And yeah, but yeah, cheers everyone for watching and keeping along. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.